Welcome to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy II. The second stop on this Final Fantasy marathon, playing through the first 9 entries. The original games, as I've dubbed them. Final Fantasy II. Final Fantasy II gets a bad rap, and I think people over-exaggerate this game being bad. So like Final Fantasy I, the only time I've played Final Fantasy II was when I played its Final Fantasy Origins version. Final Fantasy Origins. It was a PlayStation 1 game that featured both Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2. They were both remakes of the original NES games. They were remade for the WonderSwan, which I still haven't done any research about that here recently. I still think it was like a Japan exclusive console. I'm not really sure. I should probably do some research on that, maybe later. But they ported those WonderSwan remake versions to PlayStation. They made it here to the West. And that was the first time Final Fantasy II had ever reached the West. Before that, Final Fantasy II was a Japan exclusive game. So Origins, I'm not sure when Origins came out. 2000 maybe? Maybe that's something I will look up right now. Oh wait, I'm trying to do the voice thing. When did Final Fantasy Origins come out? According to this, October 31st, 2002, in Japan. It was later released in other regions, with the North American release on October 3rd. What? October 30th, 2000. What? Apparently, North America got this game one day before Japan, which is crazy to see. But I guess Japan already had this game for WonderSwan. Maybe Square Enix was just so... I mean, at this time, they would have been Square Enix. Well, no, they were still Squaresoft at this time, I think. Yeah. I guess they're just excited to give this, give Final Fantasy II to the West officially for the first time. I don't know. But 2002 was the first time the West got their hands on Final Fantasy II, for better or for worse. 2002, what a great year. That was also the birth of Kingdom Hearts. So damn, we got Kingdom Hearts before we got Final Fantasy II here in the West. But yeah, 2 it's well known. 2 is not very liked. I've seen many people show their displeasure and say this is a bad game and all that. My experience with Final Fantasy II, yes, it does have some questionable decisions that were made in it. But I enjoyed my time with Final Fantasy II. With Final Fantasy Origins. And I liked it for what it was. Between this and Final Fantasy 1, I did like Final Fantasy 1 a little bit more. But they're both in my top 50 games list. They're toward the bottom of it, but they're both there. There are some high-profile or higher-profile Final Fantasy games that I like this game more than, at least as of right now. But we'll play it again. We'll play this Pixel Remaster version. And we'll, who knows, maybe a second playthrough of this game, and I'll change my mind and be like, well, you know what? I don't know what I saw I don't know what I saw in it the first time, but this game is actually cheeks. I doubt it. If anything, I might like the game more now that I can turn off encounters, and that's really the main thing. But yeah, I'm right off of playing Final Fantasy 1. It's Pixel Remaster for the first time. And I found that game to be, it was definitely easier. I played it in the basic settings of just ×1 Gil and experience, and I did turn off encounters sometimes. But yeah, I just found the game to be just easier in comparison. I mean, really a lot easier in comparison to the PlayStation 1 version I had previously played. And I'm kind of expecting the same thing here. It's just gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how these Pixel Remaster versions compare to the versions I've previously played. Cause I think I'll just go ahead and say this again. I think by the time we get to Final Fantasy VI, that you know, I've heard that game is, the Pixel Remaster of that game is tougher than the original SNES game. And the version of FF6 I played was its PS1 version, which is just the SNES version ported to PS1, but it fixed the glitches that existed in FF6 for SNES were fixed for PS1, but the game also ran slower. Load times are a lot slower. Bringing up the menu, that's the biggest fucking problem with it. If it wasn't for that, I would probably be fine with that version, but bringing up the menu is what takes too long, and you're always constantly bringing up the menu. If like going from one room to the next, if that took a little while, okay, that's one thing, but like every time I bring up the menu, it takes too long to bring up the menu. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. This is not about Final Fantasy VI, this is about Final Fantasy II. Definitely think of it as an underappreciated game. My biggest takeaway with Final Fantasy II, though, honestly, this might be a little weird, but I kind of vibe with the tone of Final Fantasy II. It's not a very happy tone. It's kind of a dreadful tone. But I kind of vibe with it. Like, throughout this whole game, it feels like the stakes are high and you're really at war here. But without further ado, let's get into this. New game. Firion, Maria, Guy, and Leon. That works for me. Guy's name was actually Gus in the PS1 version. Let's go. A long-lived peace. The little cutscene you got is adding in. The little cutscene you got in the Final Fantasy Origins versions of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 were pretty dope. I'll say that. But this might be a little bit better of showing what's going on. The Emperor of Palamecia has called forth monsters from the underworld and has begun his campaign for world conquest. I'm not that fast of a reader, game. Calm your shit. A rebel army arose in the Kingdom of Fynn and thought the Empire's to throw out the Empire's plans, or Emperor's plans. But the rebels' castle fell to an all-out assault by the Empire. Left with little choice, the rebels withdrew to the remote town of Altair. Altair? 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 4 youths from Ben also found themselves fleeing the Imperial army. They had lost their parents at the hands of the Empire, but their escape wasn't over. Let's see if we can take one out. I guess we're not going to. Ah! We are ass. And we're all dead. Game over. That's been Final Fantasy 2. How the fuck did we get out of that pickle? I guess they just showed up right after we fainted and took those guards out and dragged us here. Will he live? He will. I sense a strong life force within him. He should regain consciousness soon. We found them like this on the escape from Finn, fallen from terrible wounds. By the time we brought them here, I feared it was already too late. His life is not in danger. This sigil will strengthen his life force. We should let him rest now. Of course. We'd best be off to the meeting. I imagine they're already waiting for us. If the Empire is allowed to complete the dreadnought they're building in Bavsk, their attack will begin in earnest. We cannot sit idly by and watch. We must act. Where am I? Leon! Maria! Guy! Where are you? Furion, you're alive. I thought you'd... I'm fine, Maria. You seem alright too, Guy. But wait. Where's Leon? Princess of Finn, save us. I never really understood why they have God speak like this. Like he's a complete imbecile. But Leon not here. Maybe he's foreign. I don't know. I see. Don't worry. I'm sure he's okay. This is a dope theme. So you regain your strength. Very good. Your life force is strong indeed. It was you who saved us, wasn't it? Thank you. Forgive me, Your Highness, but there's something I must ask of you. Please let us join the rebel army. I could never allow such a thing. You know nothing of battle. You would only be throwing your lives away. You should return to your homes. But we have no homes. Not anymore. The Imperials attacked, and our parents... our parents... I am truly sorry, but that changes nothing. I cannot permit you to join our army. If you've nowhere to go, you're welcome to stay here in Altair. If you know our password, you should be able to live here well enough. The password is Wild Rose. Remember it well. Learn Wild Rose. Now this is a system that's kind of like the first head scratcher. a little bit, you know, it doesn't really feel like there's a real point to this. And our first game that gives you a front row back row system. And right here you can see that we're missing levels. You don't really have levels in Final Fantasy II. More boosts at our disposal. Almost feel as if this wasn't in the original game. Let me do a little bit of quick research here. FF2 compensatory HP. Yeah, my hunch was right. This says increase your max HP after a fixed number of wins in battle. So I guess like as I keep winning battles, my character's HP will just increase. In the original game, and the PS1 version too, I guess. It was not like that. The way you get more HP in this game is if your characters get hit in battle. Which kind of leads to the next head scratcher of this game and how your characters go about increasing their stats. They don't gain. There's no experience to gain. There's no leveling up. The more your characters do something, the better they'll get at it, which is a good idea. Like weapon skill level boost. The more your character uses a weapon, like if your character uses a sword, the more they use it, the more attacks they deal with it, the better they'll get with the sword, the more attack they'll gain, the more damage they can do with that sword. Same with magic. The more they use a certain magic spell, the better and stronger they'll get with it. I don't know. Set the stat boost for each attribute. I'm really not sure what this is talking about. FF2 attribute boost. For example, you increase strength by using attack command, spirit by casting white magic, intelligence by casting black magic, HP and stamina increase by taking damage. Okay, yeah. I guess this applies to stuff that... how it was in the original game. So this, I think, is a change for the later remakes of Final Fantasy II. Because people thought it was just so annoying that you had to take damage in battles to increase your HP. And there's actually a strategy of where your characters, you just attack yourself in battle. So you can grind getting your HP higher like that. So this is a good idea to put in the game. It's a good idea to put this in the game. It's a good idea to give the player a choice. I read on here that apparently this wasn't a choice in the Game Boy version. This is something that maybe in a future Let's Play I would want and prefer to have this on. For now, I'm gonna try and play this like the original game. I'm gonna have that off. Final Fantasy 1, I played that. I played the Pixel Remaster of Final Fantasy 1, and it caught me off guard. I was not expecting it to have all these items that the original game didn't have. And I try not to use them. But I couldn't, I honestly didn't remember what all items that Final Fantasy 1 did or didn't have. I saw that the Pixel Remaster had Ethers and Phoenix Downs, and I knew those weren't in the original game, or even the PS1 game. But there was High Potions, and I cannot remember if Final Fantasy 1 did or didn't have 2 healing items. Honestly, I was thinking it did. So I was using High Potions, but I was only using them in dungeons. And then I finally saw that no, Final Fantasy 1 didn't have 2 potions, High Potions. It only had potions. I was thinking like the original game had tonics and potions. I think I just got confused with Final Fantasy 6, because I think that's what 6 has. It has tonics and potions, and basically potions were like High Potions. The tonics are like potions, and in the Pixel Remaster for FF6, they're probably going to be called Potions and High Potions instead of tonics and potions. But anyway, FF1, the Pixel Remaster, it also had, what was it? A remedy. Yeah, remedies, and I could not remember if remedies were or were not in the Pixel Remaster. I guess I was thinking they were in it. I used one of them in battles in the middle of the game. But then I realized, I would then go and see and realize that the original game, the only items the original game had were like, all it had were potions, antidotes for curing poison, and gold needles for curing stone. And then they had tents and cottages, basically, and that was it. And maybe sleeping bags, maybe a third thing, like a tent and cottage, maybe. But that's it. That's all the items that were in the original Final Fantasy 1. Like, I don't mind using High Potions in dungeons for the Pixel Remaster, just to keep myself from having to keep running in and out of dungeons to heal and come back. just to kind of streamline that. And the same thing with being able to turn off encounters. If I go halfway through a dungeon and I decide I'm running thin on resources and I need to go back, exit the dungeon, head back to town to heal up, that's when I would decide to turn encounters off instead of just trying to run out of there and flee from fights, and it takes forever to flee from fights sometimes. And sometimes there's fights you just cannot flee from. But I really didn't have to worry about all that too much because the Pixel Remaster, it was so much easier than the PS1 version. And if I want to have a tougher challenge with it in the future, the Pixel Remaster version, thanks to these sliders, I could turn the experience I get down, turn the gil I get down, and that'll make the game harder. And maybe even real hard, because going from 1 to 0.5 and basically saying, okay, I'm playing the game, getting half the experience, getting half the gil I previously did, maybe I can go back and forth between 0.5 and 1, and therefore it's kind of like I put the slider down at 0.75, but I digress. I could do that to make it more challenging. I can even go all the way down to 0 if I wanted to at times. So I just love having these options available to play a game how you want. I'm always just a big supporter of just giving the player choices. Our password is Wild Rose. Remember it well. Alright, time to get back into the game. The Wild Rose is the insignia of the Kingdom of Fynn. It represents our hope for our flourishing future of strength and beauty. But what will become of Fynn now? I've heard that the Empire's captives suffer there in confinement, even as we speak. Maria, your brother Leon is missing, is he not? It's possible that he's being held in Fynn as well. But Fynn is far too dangerous to travel to now. The Emperor's beasts still stalk the streets. Gaining entrance to the city will not be easy. The man at my right is Minwu, the white wizard who tended your wounds. Speak with him before you leave. He may be of some assistance. So it is kind of interesting to think about what exactly has happened to Leon here. I guess maybe they didn't show up right after we got knocked out by the guards. I guess the guards might have just knocked us all out. They took Leon with them and left the rest of us there to die. I guess they just thought we would eventually succumb to our wounds and die, and they decided not to even bother finishing the job. Because we are just fucking peasants after all. It's not like we're a big threat. So they think. But the folks of Fynn found us and rescued us and brought us back to health. And we owe them so much for that. I see your destiny clearly. The future it holds seems closely entwined with my own. You will begin by journeying to Fynn. That is the first step toward realizing your fate. Man, I still have this lingering cough. I've had this cough lingering for a whole week. I think it's getting a little bit better. It's starting to go away. But man. You've wasted no time using the password. Heed well the information it will bring you. You can learn much of value by listening. I offer you one more bit of advice before you depart for Fynn. Those who have fallen in battle can be revived at a sanctuary. Should one of you fall before you reach Finn, go without hesitation to the nearest sanctuary. The port of Paloom lies not far east of here, but a lake separates us, so you won't be able to reach the town without a canoe. Canoe is highlighted green, like I could learn that. I guess not. I guess they're just trying to let me know that's a word of importance. Heading to Finn, are we? It's not my place to tell you what to do, but I'd reconsider if I were you. It's a dangerous place to be, you see. The city is crawling with the Empire's monsters. To the north lies a small village called Gatria. Judging by the look of you, you'd be lucky to make it that far. Before you go anywhere, I suggest you visit the room with the sigil that saved your life. There you'll find people who can teach you a thing or two about adventuring. I think you're going to need all the advice they can spare. Haha. He was rhyming for a little bit in the beginning. I thought his whole dialogue paragraph was gonna be in rhymes. I guess he's telling me there's some tutorial NPCs back in that room that saved our life. This is the Rebels Army's war room. This is the Rebel Army's war room. Yep. Damn, there's a lot of these motherfuckers. Would you like to hear about monsters? Talking about some monsters can absorb elements. I didn't notice that at all in Final Fantasy 1. So I think that's a new thing for Final Fantasy 2. Yeah, I just figured I would kind of skim through what they're saying, but not read them out loud. Just telling you about basic stuff in the game. I figured I would rebrush on this stuff and see exactly how some things might work in Final Fantasy 2. If my characters weren't full of health and everything, this would actually heal us and restore us. Okay, nothing I really didn't know. This episode's just flying by with me doing a whole lot of nothing. Kinda like how Final Fantasy 1 went. This is the King's bedchamber. His Majesty was grievously wounded in the fight. His Majesty was grievously wounded in the flight from Flynn. He's been resting here for some time now. This is the King's bedchamber. Yada yada yada, all the same stuff he said. An arrow struck me in the back during the battle, leaving me in this state. Perhaps I really have grown old. My daughter, Hilda, now serves as regent. You should speak with her. You're in the rebel hideout in the town of Altair. Gordon, the Prince of Kashan, is hiding out here in Altair. I don't know what happened, but something has made him lose faith in himself. Our first item, a potion. Princess Hilda fled here when Finn was sacked. She's doing a remarkable job of leading the rebel army while His Majesty recovers. I'm Paul, greatest thief in all the world. They've yet to invent the loot I can't burgle or steal. The Imperial coffers have kept my purse fat, with gil lately. I never steal from the rebels. You can be sure of that. My home was in Finn too. I can't even go home now that the Empire's occupied the city. This is the town of Altair. The Imperial forces haven't been deployed this far out yet. I suppose it's only a matter of time, though. My name is Gordon. I was once a prince of Kashan. Now I'm nothing but a coward. When my brother Scott fell in battle, I abandoned my kingdom and fled here. So, you've asked to take up arms in the struggle. I'm so afraid Hilda will turn me away that I haven't even asked her. I've been stalling here. I'm just a spineless coward. Go ahead, laugh. I deserve it. Zero gil to rest up. Hell yeah. So yeah, we'll give Final Fantasy II this though. The menu music does not change when you go in. The music does not change when you go into the menu. It's for the most part always a pet peeve of mine that I don't like it when when you go into the menu, the music just changes. Okay, well, stuff in here is not too expensive. I was thinking I was going to come in here and couldn't hardly afford anything. But let me see what else this town has to offer. Cause we got a weapon shop too. Tobal, the fellow over in that weapon shop, is one fine blacksmith. I think something's been bothering him lately, though. What could you want with me? I'm just an old man. The geezer act is just a cover. My name's Tobel, and I'm the best darn blacksmith in the rebel army. I'm sure we got some business later with you. What can I do for you? Damn, a knife is better than what I got right now? Like, what do I have right now equipped to my characters? Yeah, I mean, he's got a broadsword. Guy's got an axe. But you're saying the knife is better? 3 attack. 375. I mean, evasion 75. 3 attack. Or accuracy 75. My bad. 2 evasion. 5 magic interference. I mean, it can be better. I think it's saying it's better for stuff if I put in the left hand, but it's a little fucky. 8+ attack. I mean, the accuracy is better with the knife. Evasion. +2 evasion, +50 magic interference. I don't know what magic interference really means. Does that... I don't know what that means at all. Does that mean it's going to get in the way if I use magic? I don't know what that means. The old geezers... The old tutorial geezers didn't tell me anything about any magic evasion. Or magic interference. A small knife. I think I just want to stick with the weapons they already have. I mean, if I'm going to go with swords for Furion, you know, there's no point of using any other weapon. Just stick with swords the whole game. Let him be a master swordsman, and that's all he can, that's, you know, all he needs to use. Like, that's the same thing with Guy. If I go the route of axe. When I played this game on PS1, I let Guy just use axes. I'm wondering if I should still do that, or maybe I should have him learn swords too. Then, you know, I feel like that'd be kind of boring that both Furion and Guy were both sword users. I feel like I should give him a shield just so his shield stat could rise. See, look. So I'll do that. Because I guess I had a shield in my inventory. Okay. I feel like this game is letting me start off with more equipment and armor than what the original game does. Final Fantasy 1 definitely did that. You start in Final Fantasy 1 in the original game. You cannot you do not start with any equipment at all. You just start off with like 400 gil, and you can go into town and you can buy equipment, but you do not start with anything at all. No weapons, no equipment, nothing. You have to buy that. But in the Pixel Remaster, they do let you start with equipment and weapons already equipped. I'm sorry, I want to look and see. I want to try and look and see here. Going back to my old Final Fantasy 2. Let's Play. I'm gonna fast forward until I bring up equipment. When the original game, it does say Furion starts with a broadsword, a buckler, leather armor. Okay, I don't think the game lets you start off with leather armor just to put on. I think the game here is letting me start off with an extra piece of leather armor. I think it's probably letting me start off the game with the extra broadsword too. I'm sticking with the axe for Guy. That's what I'm doing. Got a white magic shop. Let me real quick in the original game. Let me see if I can see how much guild it gets. Let me see if I can see how much guild the game lets you start with. $400. Removes curses. Removes amnesia. These are like some status effects that don't really show up in the rest of the series. Main's Kiss is expensive though. Gold Needle's expensive. Potion, high potions, eye drops, antidotes. Phoenix Down, Ether's Cottage's Elixir. This time around I'm thinking all these were certainly items in Final Fantasy II. I don't... Like, I can definitely see that, I can definitely see Final Fantasy II adding in maybe some extra stuff. Items in Final Fantasy II that were not in the original game. Wyvern Egg. Wyvern Egg, Sunfire, and the Crystal Rod? What? I don't know. Alright, I think it's the item shop here. In my PS1 playthrough. Whoa, back it up. Phoenix Down, Ether's Cottage's Elixirs, which I see right here. Potion, high potions, eye drops, antidotes. Cross mallet means okay. All these items are the exact same. So there might not be any new items like that for this version. We'll definitely have to make sure to check back up on that for Final Fantasy III. Ooh. I don't want to give... honestly, I wish I could just drop these two, because I don't... They do give you these. I don't think you start with these. Like, I have an extra leather armor here and this broadsword. I don't think you can get these. I don't think you get those in the original Final Fantasy II. Just the church. It is the church. Can I just bring party members back from the dead for free instead of being charged for it like I was in FF1? I think that's a positive change, just for no other reason. Like, why am I getting charged at a church, you know? To bring someone back to life, like, you know, bring someone back from the brink of death, or what have you. Is there no black mage shop here? That's wild. Only white mage? Or is it all... Okay, no, I think it was all in one shop, wasn't it? There's no white or black, man. It's not separated in shops in this game, is what I'm trying to say. It's using the White Mage logo, though, from the first game. Alright, well, yeah, I think that's what I want to buy the most here. Cure Tome. Fire Tome. Bucklers, leather caps, clothes, maybe leather gloves? Nobody's got anything for arms. I guess leather gloves would be for arms. I need to look up what magic. I need to know what magic interference does. Nobody's got anything for their heads either. Do not have a whole lot of moolah. You cannot wear leather gloves? What? Or that's what I bought. Okay, I was thinking I bought 2 of them. No, I bought 2 leather caps. Sorry, Maria, but for right now, until I figure out what magic interference does exactly, I'll leave those off of you. But it's not a good thing. It makes it go. It makes it goes up, which is a bad thing. So I'm gonna stay away. Thinking about teaching Furion some spells to have him be decent at something. I might have to wait for now, at least. Leather cap. I feel like I'm gonna need and want Furion to have 2 spells up his sleeve. Probably white spells, white magic spells, just in case Miria is down for the count. I have no money to buy any potions. I've screwed up. I should have bought some potions. Damn it, I wasted all my money on spells and armor. I didn't even think of, I forgot all about trying to get some potions. I do have the cure spell. Nope. Alright, well, we've kicked things off here in Final Fantasy II, and I really haven't gotten shit done. Between me yapping and looking up shit and what have you, I really didn't get too much fucking done in this episode. And that's like what happened in the first episode of Final Fantasy I. Neither episode, just like the first episode of Final Fantasy I, I've yet to do any combat. Didn't do any combat here in the first episode. That's cool. That's a nice little touch. I like being able to see just airships flying around randomly sometimes. But that's going to end it for this one. Until next time.